called Email to a Girl. It's not hard. 2, 3, 4. Started out Thank you. And this one's called 1111.
Ah.
We all start together.
That's a good idea. 3, 4. Keep going, right? So 2, 3, 4.
A string broken, so we're going to take a little 5-minute break.
That's always a take for a cup of cold coffee and a piece of cake.
It's not nearly as bad as hitting the drumsticks.
Did you hit
That's
the
the
drumsticks?
ultimate.
Yeah,
Oh,
again,
It's his birthday, you gotta pick your drumsticks.
I'll get you a chocolate coffee.
That actually occurred on the album, and I don't remember the album. You can hear the drummer go.
Yeah,
That's
on the
good.
album.
Twisty here.
No, I can do something.
I know you can. Amazing. That's why you're here.
She's smiling when she's having flummoxed.
No, she's not thumbing.
She'll figure it
Dana
out.
Rasdell, lead singer of Boston, 1962 on Wednesday.
I know, that's why we're here.
Granular coffee. Look at you.
Yeah, look at you. Yay.
Dad didn't know it was your birthday.
My God, no, most of the world doesn't. It's a well kept secret. But sure is fun. Well, it's the Queen's birthday too. It's Flag Day.
Queen's birthday?
Queen's birthday, yeah, 14th June.
Wait, did you put those up there? Are those for sale by you?
No, this is for the cafe. But I put the flags up for the Flag Day.
You should have brought an Australian flag.
I'm not that patriotic.
I got a flag from Australia.
You do? You own one?
President
There's
Amundsen.
about 5 of them in the house. Hey. Yeah, let's people in. It's more fun. Hi Nancy, welcome to it. Okay, hey. Okay, I rise up. She's going to Hey, welcome. So good, limitless. It's going. It's just changing the strings of Jimi Hendrix
How are you?
channel, and suddenly it's it's hard to tell what's going to happen. You've got an angel spirit.
Relationships things.
Yeah. This is the way to have relationships.
The next one is wait.
It's Thursday, next Thursday.
It is.
So I will be.
I'm just
I know, but I've got this. So otherwise I'll be there. Australia. That's funny. That is hilarious. Did you get out of San Antonio?
No. Founded.
I was thinking that's incredible. And then they made the China dish. This is so good. You know Nancy's from the
Do I know Nancy?
Come on. Hey, man.
There's
It's on this week too. On this week. This is Satan Universe. It's starting the night up. Satan Universe. That's the name of the band. Satan Universe. I don't know what it means either. Satan Limitless.
less.
Yes, less. No limits. Isn't it naughty? I just thought it was I mean, blue on top is yeah, that's so unfunny. I can't
No.
now I can. Hey-o! Hi! Oh, you made it on the right note this time. It is my birthday.
Look at you, happy birthday.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think you got this book already. Happy birthday. Poet and musician.
That's a valuable character.
Are you guys getting
I know. Probably stop. So yeah, just give my
Started? Which one is it?
Yeah. That'd be nice. Okay. I see you now. I see you. Very easy. That's true. It's so funny because I work with her. I work with her. Yeah, I know. She is. So I don't know where I yeah, help yourself.
So do you have something? See that piano there?
Something is hard.
I just ordered them this.
That's what it's called.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, it's free. You can talk to him. Hold on. Dana's back in town.
Welcome, Oklahoma. How are you? Wow, look, we got lots of happiness here. So come on,
Oh, you didn't say that. One more thing to say. Go ahead.
let us in. Thank you, man. Happy birthday. Yes, I'm very happy. No. This was last night at McDonald's. We were at the temple and very sweet. So at McDonald's, they didn't realise there was an on sign in the window. Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna pass this back. I was really popping in to get a treat. I don't know you guys.
Yeah.
Those are portable.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was for.
No, this is a gift.
Yeah.
He just returned. He's got tons of that. He's got tons of that at home. He's giving you a book too. Yeah.
Walk in the car, walk right in there and tell me.
He's got like this stuff on it.
Don't worry about me, just put my extras on him.
Most important day of the year.
Thank you very much. I intend to have a happy birthday.
How many musicians does it take to play drums?
Yes.
You're gonna get a mocha one. You know what? Yes, indeed. You two, this one was easy to do, so. Well, it should be, yeah.
So it's gonna take a little time, so we'll need to start your festivities at 6 o'clock.
Yeah? Just play on, baby.
No, are you ready? Are your people on you yet?
It's after 6 o'clock.
It's already after 6.
Play on, brother. This is once a year treat. Yeah, be proud. So Martha's looking up the baby or what?
Yeah. It's easy to
Those cards reminded me of Three Gold Sound.
Okay, last song and we start the festivities for Tom's birthday.
It's American. I did that for that day. The flag lover.
It is my dad. This is how I
wanted more of me.
What you don't know is that this is safely limitless and we go back a long way. I mean, about 12 foot 6 inches. At Barton Springs, there was a restaurant Wednesday nights, and made a fatal mistake of inviting poets to prance their words, and the band came along and they were both a song and they were wonderful. It was gorgeous. We would make things up like a conversation and metaphor until, of course, money and the economy closed down that restaurant, which was an Irish Italian joke. And now we can't even remember what the name of it was, but it was true and all. It lasted almost 3 years. The only other living thing was SOS they used to gather there to save our springs. The poetry is part of that vibration. While we're alive, safely limitless, surviving. They were here last year for his royal birthday came around again, and all of us seasonings and all of us celebrating. All of us are musical. All of us are all of us. Some people say, it can't be me. It can't be me. I mean you because you were there before, you saw them when they were working at that restaurant. You remember them, all 2 and 3 and 4 of them, depending on who turned up. Professional, I say for sure. Well, I'm not really sure, but I know that they were wonderful adventurers. And yes it was, and yes it was, and yes it's gone. And now it's called pesos and bucks, and everybody turns to their memories, 'cause it ain't no place there like it was. There used to be a poet paradise on Wednesday nights, but now only memories survive. And so all of us know how all of us glow. You are the show, and every evening you bring your dreams to a new scene. The old ones gone into the history of Austin, beautiful South Austin, independent republic of free expression, while it's still alive and friends about. Even though we know it's only your own glow that keeps us alive, so we say we're glad that you are here. This full English cafe will help us all today to remember who we really are, as we will dance and sway to safely limitless. Today they came for us to celebrate, because every one of us was born at least once or twice or 3 times, daily and nightly, and any old time you want to be alive. It's good that we survive. We're glad that you're here tonight. While it lasts, I simply want to say thank you, safely limitless, and thank you, Art Tamale Rum. They cut the spoken heard and of course the word wrong. That wonderful Sunday where we always play, where Melanie, Rose and Ryan always hold an open stage. Every single day and every single night, we simply come to share that human living delight. All of us alive, most of us alive, and while we're here tonight, we say thank you, safely limitless.
Who's next on the list?
Sorry, got rehearsal.
I know, last time, yeah.
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 Oh God, I was stuck on the interstate for an hour.
You made it, you're here.
And then in Pflugerville.
I wasn't joking, that was safely limitless, and they are the best band in this room. They are. I couldn't make that up. You heard them, and some of you heard the original tunes before, exactly, and some of you heard them before, playing the same original tunes. But the good news is they've recorded them, so if anyone still buys records, instead of uploading and downloading, you can actually buy something. I know it's a silly word to say in this day and age, but this is open stage. The room is full of poets, and of course, what do you say to a poet? You don't say much because they're the one with the words.
Nothing, because they'll write it down.
Oh well, some have to write it down. Some have got those little funny phones that they have poems on the phones, you know? And the phones make them smarter. Are you ready, Hot Tamala?
Video, there is
Looking for something.
Oh, she's looking. Melanie, would you like to? You see, we're very, very lucky because Hot Tamale is one of the hosts of Spoken and Heard, which is a kick-butt coffee shop, 5775 West Airport, every Sunday night from 7 to 10. They have musicians too. In fact, they really have some beautiful musicians.
I'm ready if you want me.
Yeah, come on. Hot Tamale, tell them all about it. Spoken and Heard, kick-butt Sunday nights. Here's a Hot Tamale.
I just drove in from Pflugerville and boy is my car tired. Honestly. I've never been here before. Hello. Okay, I actually do have something new, and every so often when I'm stuck in traffic like I was earlier, I dictate on my phone and write something that ends up more often than not in my notes. Ordinarily, I didn't used to think that iPhones were worth anything. Now I can't live without it. Thank you, capitalist America. And I have this one called I Can't Cry. No, thank you. I don't want a hot knife in my brain. I found that any strong emotion causes me intense pain. Not just in my heart, not just in my soul. The searing fire takes control. It burns me, it blinds me like hot molten rain. Feeling that would drive anyone insane. So sad to say, what makes my brain fry? I just gotta tell you, I can't cry. Tears of happiness, tears of joy, create pain to knock down the largest man or boy. Giddy occasion and the tears start to flow, pain in the head, over the eyes, don't you know? But it's not just that. Anger and frustration can give rise to a headache's gestation. Blinding rage can give rise to a migraine like a wild animal in a cage. So if you see me smiling mildly or just getting moderately miffed, it's just a safety precaution. Pain or joy make me see red. If you get a migraine, choose neutrality instead. Don't let me cry.
There's a plethora. You know, they say, what do you call a crowd of poets? You know, it's sort of like you have a gang, coven, no. We call
Coven of poets.
it a cloud of poets, you know, like a cloud of unknowing, or the other virtual cloud. So we're in the cloud together. And no, nothing's true. We're just you're in a land of fantasy. Look on the wall, William Blake, 7 feet tall. I mean, you ask what's true, well, he was true. But Melanie Rose is the host with on Sundays from 3 to 6 of one of the most astonishingly open all ages events at Hot Mamas, which has always been a pro-poetry venue. And every Sunday from 3 to 6, chanting, music, improvisations, collaborations, you know, unknown things present themselves. Strangers walk in, suddenly they become delightful, covered with rainbows. It's really, really good. And Melanie has got a whole lot of wonderful material. And a lot memorized too, from the Rainbow Tribes. Here's Melanie Rose.
Surprise, you're on.
I gotcha.
Actually, could I have a minute? Could you have someone else go in front of me?
Okay, here's Magic
I had an emergency just now, and I realized I was going to call.
That's life in the big city.
Hi, I'm Magic Jack, and I don't host anything. Yeah, I'm new in town. I've only been here for about a year and a half. And when I first got here, I looked to find if they had an occupier, and they did. So I went down and got involved with the Occupy. And they were starting to work with the Million Musician March people, and they were having a big party at Rovita's. So we went to that, and that's where I saw Tom for the first time. And Dana McBride called Tom up to the stage, and she said, "We're ready to get started, Tom." And Tom just starts talking. And one guy on one guitar, and Tom's talking, and like 2 minutes later he's like, "Walk with me, dance with me, walk with me." And all of a sudden people are walking around, dancing. 5 minutes later the place is a party. Now, it's not like that where I'm from. I'm from Rhode Island. It's a little state, you probably heard of it. I turned to my wife and I said, "These people know how to party." I said, "Look at that guy. He's just talking. He's not singing, he's just talking and people are dancing to it. I have to get to know that guy." And so I did. I figured out who he was and I tracked him down and I said, "I'm going to be your buddy." So we've been hanging around quite a bit since. Whoa, Dave's here. And I back him up when I can, and I'd just like to say that it's been a whole new experience being here in Austin and meeting new friends like Tom and Dana McBride and many, many, many others. It's in the car. I'll pull it out eventually.
Oh,
But yeah, I'll pull it out. At the appropriate moment.
their guitar in the car.
There's lots of people here that want to get up.
No, they're all terrified.
So that's my story, and I love Tom. Like a lot of you folks have known Tom much longer than I have, but to know Tom is to love Tom. That's my last word, Tom. Anyone else?
We love Tom.
I'm not sure the Patriot Act would allow all that, you know. This conversation is not being monitored, by the way, and recorded. So, every night, if you can believe it, there's at least one place that you can actually be yourself, right? Today is Friday.
Flag Day.
Just what?
Flag Day.
Yes, that's why the flags are here.
Woo, flag.
Can you be yourself on Flag Day?
Well, we are, aren't we? With or without flags, we are ourselves. But the point is this, that there are magical places like the Full English Cafe. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, from 6 to 9, this is an open stage. Amazing things happen. Art, you see art all on the walls, it becomes apparent right here, three-dimensional. Sundays, there's 3 venues. First one is Hot Mamas, 3 to 6. That's at 6th and Pedernales. And the outdoor stage can hold up to 150 people, so we normally have about 5. And the indoor stage holds about 5 people, and 5 to 10. That's true. Poetry, let me tell you, it's going through a cyclone, typhoon. It's going through a stage.
Makeover.
A makeover. That's very good. Thank you. Renovation. Yes, like the Antique Roadshow. We take a Shelley, Kipling, and we turn them into a sort of like John Cooper Clarke. But I digress. Sundays 3 to 6, Hot Mamas, 6 and Pedernales. Then there's a new one, the Counterculture Cafe. If anyone reads this week's food issue of the Chronicle, it has a big article about the wonders of the Counterculture Cafe, and it truly is good. It's on East 6 near Pedernales, surprisingly, just around the corner from Hot Mamas, and that's run by Ajari. And Ajari is an amazing memorizing poet from Phoenix and Atlanta, and he's made a home in Austin, and he's got this new venue which is like a people venue. Sit round and you share. And then we go to this dynamic, amazing, astonishing show at 7 o'clock, which is kicked butt, spoken and heard, which is so powerful it has to have 4 hosts. It's true, I do not lie. Ernie B, he's doing the internet, whatever that is. You know, I think it's hand cranked electricity or something, like ice cream. But
No, it's lightning with Ben Franklin.
very good. Ben Franklin's in the house. Yes, we shall have Ben Franklin. And then there's Lost in Thought, who's changed his name now because he didn't find himself when he was looking. And there's also the wonderful Element 615, who is going to leave in July, but he's right here in June. Because this is Gemini time, you see. Hot Tamale is Gemini, Element 615 is Gemini, and I am Gemini, and so am I. So, Tuesday, Monday, that's Sunday. Monday, we're at Headhunters. Can you believe a heavy metal thrash venue with the original Vomit on the Floor loves poets? I mean, we've got crusty, rusty, dusty, old, like, you know, ghosts of Boston past. You know, the creaky dead people with tattoos on their hearts. Well, you know, they welcome us. That's Monday. And Tuesday, where are we Tuesday? Rita Maya, which is Melanie Rose's. Stephanie. Oh, I lost it. I used to do it. That's right, because Melanie has been a long time involved in Rita Maya. You know, there's been 3 locations, 4th and Lavaca, and then 3601 South Congress, and now 1209 South First in the Baldwin Creek Food Court. And poetry, of course, is an ephemeral thing, but the consistency of Rita Maya and the consistency of the hosts who keep it going are magical. Which, are you ready? Oh. Melanie Rose is going to take you away. Up and away!
Okay, sorry about that again, guys. I looked up and realized y'all were announcing me. I was like, oh my god, I'm like being so rude right now.
The deer in the headlights moment.
So thank you. Yeah, the Rita Maya reading has really changed hands a lot. It's kind of more about the keeping it going. So when one host has to leave, the baton gets passed, and so I guess that's how it's been able to stay together for so many. But it was, I think, my first poetry reading I ever used to attend, and probably where I first heard Tom the World Poet there, or the Green Room, another venue we used to have. So there's a lot of roots in our poetry community for sure through Rita Maya, and especially since Rita Maya closed, I've been really just grateful for Tom and all the other hosts of venues, the supporters of poetry, the poets, and especially to Tom for kind of being like the web weaver between them all.
Pied Piper of poetry.
Yeah!
And his monthly thing at Expressions, I have a loud voice already, probably don't even need that. His monthly thing at Expressions, sometimes he'll have all the different hosts come together and feature. Because a lot of times we're not able to get to each other's readings. I mean, I do the one on Sunday and then my kid's done, you know, so I never get to make it to Kick Butt, and I got to see them perform, and I was like,
Wow.
man, I'm missing a good reading. So, and also when a host has to step down, or when there's politics and they're trying to get rid of the poet, you know, different things, Tom's there, you know, like, making sure that there's communication happening, and I mean just the real efforts that he makes every day to keep that community alive here and abroad. So really grateful to be here again for your birthday.
Yeah!
Happy birthday, Tom.
So lately, being a host, you know, some of your stuff can start feeling repetitive, so I've been singing more chants and drumming and stuff like that at our Hot Mamas reading, because it's mixed music and poetry and whatever. So I'll do a little chant and then do that. And these are chants I pick up at like rainbow gatherings and stuff like that. In the womb I feel the heartbeat of my mother. In the womb I feel protected and safe. In the womb I feel the heartbeat of my mother. In the womb I feel her comfort and love, sweet love. And when I feel afraid, or when I feel unsafe, I return to the heartbeat, I return to the womb. And when I need comfort, oh love, sweet love, I return to the heartbeat, I return to the womb. Sacred waters of the womb surround me in love, and when they flow within, I feel my pain flow out. In the waters of the womb, I find my balance and walk through life a little lighter now. Walk through life a little lighter now. In the womb I feel the heartbeat of my mother. In the womb I feel protected and safe. In the womb I feel the heartbeat of my mother. In the womb I feel her guidance and love, sweet love. And when I feel afraid, or when I feel unsafe, I return to the heartbeat, I return to the womb. And when I need comfort, oh love, sweet love, I return to the heartbeat, I return to the poetry, reading waters of the womb. Surround me in love, and when they flow within, I feel my pain flow out. In the waters of our readings, I find my balance and walk through life a little lighter now. Walk through life a little lighter now. I just made up the reading parts. Just singing it this time made me just realize like how there's been like, you know, there's been lots of change in my life the last few years, and so the readings kind of have been like my consistent thing, my home.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I do another poem or my? Okay, cool. Sometimes I forget like the first line of a poem. I'm like, ah. I walk the path of the rose. I'm not the one who knows, but we've all got vision to share. That's just how it goes. We all are here to grow. We all have seeds to sow, and we are in this together. That is what we need to know. We're in the times, we're in the throes of our passion. There is ill-hearted fashion when our status is satiated. We've got to do something, or else we've got to do a little less, depending on if we are living in deficiency or excess, digging and digging, not caring about the next generation's welfare or their family's success. I mean, how many times are we torn down to nothingness? To recirculate, recircle, recirculate, recircle, and time dissolve. And the health is the wealth and the key to the family's longevity, to deal with the strangeness throughout all of these changes. Deranged, not loving where the pain is. Maintain this entertaining game, but it's taking all the focus and it's not worth the drain. I want to open my eyes and recognize and honor that everyone is living different times, for reality has never been a thin straight line. It dips and its steps are forever intertwined. We're standing at this crossroads of infinite time. We walk the paths while the cycles turn circles in the mind, where every choice is up to you and nothing is a lie, and violation of your own truth is the only crime. For one man's blasphemy may be another man's salvation. Reality that we play today are fully our creation. So within the diversity within the inner nations, we must look to ourselves to find the laws that we will sanction. For we've given many lifetimes to develop and grow. And the information of the cosmos is ours when we remember that we know. So when you open up the archives and tap into the flow, the universal wisdom is your own. So even though sometimes my patience slips and I forget, a sign comes through to assist and help me get my grip. A satellite of divine love I may have even sent that recirculates embodied in a mirror image glimpse, and I'm reminded to remember those that help me are my kin. I'm blessed with good friends. This feeling never ends. Even if it's on a downslope, it always swings up again. If I do not believe thee, distractions can deceive me. I get to make a choice if I buy in or let them leave me. My mind and soul entwined. If I am not aligned, I cannot do the job to which the earth I was assigned. So please lend your help so that I can too help you. Or step to your own path and let me do what I must do. But even if 2 moments are all that we exchange, we each pass on a message, and for that our lives are changed. So even though it's true, healing starts within. Efforts to show love can help a friend's healing begin. Cause me, I need to know that while my own waters flow, there are rivers with like mind, and when combined our currents grow. To show we need not wait for clouds and pearly gates. Tap into the source and let transcendence in today. These are the things that tell me we'll be okay, despite what fears outside and fears inside contend to say. I can only relay my heart and to pay respects to your way, and say that love need not delay. Happy birthday, Tom, I love you.
Wasn't that true heart poetry, right? It was awesome! Straight from the heart to your heart, which is a really direct route. No tolls, no tolls. Just telling, storytelling. There's a place, Twin Oaks Library, which is a home to poets, and South Austin. We're largely central south, okay? Because there are a couple of venues. One on Saturday night you need to know about. It's called Osmic City Cafe. It's up in Dripping Springs. And what happens is it's potluck. You all bring food, sit around an octagonal table, talk to each other. Can you imagine that, talking to each other? Yeah. You think they'd bring their phone and be on text or something? It's up. It's on the piece of paper I gave everyone, which has got the venues on it. And if you haven't got one, I'll give you one for sure. 10031 Silver Creek Road, Dripping Springs. Okay, it's off 290. And there are two venues in Dripping Springs. That's this Saturday night. So next Thursday night, we take a little pilgrimage up 290 West. One of the most marvelous, welcoming venues is actually in a Lutheran church. Now, I don't go to church except for poetry, because that's not church. Because nobody believes in poetry, not even poets. But as you notice, the hosts are wonderful poets in their own right. And poetry is sort of like a virus of imagination. It has to be contagious. And unless it means something to someone else, the furniture doesn't need poetry. We need poetry. We need each other's poetry to enliven us. And that's why there's a theme reading every month on the third Thursday at New Life Lutheran Church, which is at 120 Frog Pond Lane, off 290 West. You see a red light sign, and you realize, red light district, time for poetry. And it's hosted by our wonderful poet, who is in Austin Poetry Society, who is a haiku mistress. I wouldn't say master because it's too sexist, but and her work is in the Texas Poetry Calendar, which is an amazing event. And she's also put together an anthology for the Austin Poetry Society. This is Nancy Firestein. Here she is.
Yes, I credit a neighborhood friend of mine for introducing me to Tom. Her name is Betty Elders, a mighty fine singer in her own right. She knew Tom and she knew that I had to meet Tom, and so I think at Expressions was the first time I really got acquainted. And I also credit Tom for being the one that nudged me get things going in Dripping Springs. So the venue we host, I try to bring in featured guests. We also have an open mic, and we do suggested themes or topics. 1 month recently, the topic of gun rights was suggested. And I heard Tom in the back of the room chime in with, guns don't have rights, people do. Well, I had to play around with that just a wee bit. Decided I would read rights to the guns. Attention, all guns. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you shoot or spray can and will be used against you in a court of law-abiding citizens who are fed up with your liberal approach to the dispensation of justice. Reports of wars and rumors of wars will be neglected, inspected, dissected, or prosecuted to the full extent of the law as we see fit. If you go off half-cocked, we won't hold it against you. But it is the responsibility of every gun in the free world to ensure the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, regardless of race, sex, religion, Oops. As we were saying, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you shoot or spray can and will be used against you. Tom spoke of some of my haiku habits. I haven't written a lot of haiku, but a couple of haiku that I've written did get published. Dos Gatos Press here in Austin just came out with a new book called Lifting the Sky. And they invited Southwestern haiku entries. And once the entries were all in, the editors made an announcement one day that, okay, you're going to be hearing, if your work has been accepted, it's been under review, and you're going to hear from us soon, but there's some people that we want to accept with some editing. I'm going, how can you edit haiku? We're talking 575 here. There's not many syllables to work with. What could possibly need editing? No. Sure enough, I got one of the notes saying, we'd like to use one of your pieces, but abbreviated. So this is what they put in the book. Let's see. The original was a 3-line, 575 piece of work. It now reads like this. Alamo tourists wait in line to see what's left. Woo!
Nice.
After they came out with that book, they announced the results for the 2014 Texas Poetry Calendar. And they have accepted a 4-liner from me for that one. I'm curious how many people here have been swimming at Hamilton Pool. Not many. Not yet. You all new to Austin? Well, it's a very popular swimming hole, at least with the local folks. But here's Nance's impression, titled Hamilton Pool. Yes, indeed, I swam there once, as a hot then shivering fool. Turns out once is more than enough to keep some Texas transplants cool.
Yeah.
I live in Drippin', but I do get around to other little hill country towns,
Yep.
one of them being Wimberley,
Yay.
favorite hangout. And this, what follows, is a found poem. I stumbled across this storyline when I was in one of the shops down there. And I went home with this story in my brain and I just had to play around with it. I call it The Wimberley Shopkeeper's Tale. An amazing cat he is at that, I heard the shopkeeper say. She was talking to somebody who had come to visit the shop one day. I'm pretty sure he's my father-in-law, she spoke with confidence, which tricked me into listening then to see how she'd make sense of what she claimed about this cat. He looked like any other. Big, black-white fur, a tail, a purr. To call him kin? Oh, brother. But calmly, matter-of-factly, she proceeded then to list the reasons why, when that cat came, fate did an awesome twist. That Dad and I, we were quite close, she started to explain, and right before he died, he said he somehow would remain where he could keep an eye on me. Barely 1 week went by after his wake when this cat strolled in and gave the clerk the eye. All decked out in black and white like Dad, the lady said. This cat would only come to me. That's rare. Me, most cats dread. In fact, I am allergic to most cats, but not to him. He gladly keeps me company, appears quite fit and trim. But one more thing about this cat I think you ought to know. He's left eye blind, just like the man who said he'd tail me so.
Whoa, yeah!
Come on out to Dripping Springs when you finish eating at Full English Cafe or any of the other fine venues in Austin. I was inspired by Austin. My venue is going to be 6 years old in September.
6 years!
Thank you.
Whoa! That's fantastic.
You know, Safety Limitless, the new people didn't get to hear you. You wanna? You ready? Yeah, ready. We can make it. This is Safety Limitless. The people who just arrived missed out on it. Thank you. Sam is our star on Saturday nights, and will be with us in a few minutes. I just wanted to make sure everybody got to hear Safety Limitless because they're going to have a CD out very soon. But right now, live is always the best, isn't it? Are all questions rhetorical? No, it's just every person should have their own venue. If they haven't got a venue, be a venue everywhere you are. Right? No, that's a real voicemail. Voicemail, exactly. Some of my friends are turning virtual. I try and talk to them, but they're digital. They're very busy on their iPhone. I remind them of the we that formed community, me and you and me, more than just I. I is just one letter of the alphabet. I don't mind if you're a techno slave. I don't mind, no. If you're plugged into the matrix down at the base of your brain. But sometimes I want to talk to you as if you were a human being, like Sandy. Now a lot of people busy on their iPhone and iPad. I can't get through in a coffee shop. I say, come on, throw away your laptops today. You won't believe it. Everybody is all plugged in and they're all away. You look at their eyes, they're hypnotized by the TV light of computer nights, and they're not gonna be alive, no matter what I say. We need to find each other before we lose our plot today. Now the corporations are under control, the CIA and say are watching you all and you know someone's reading your phone. You don't need to call home, you ain't got no home no more. You got a home in a human being who sees that you're worthwhile for the shape of your dreams, and you can always share them every night at open mics. It's true, come out every night. But nobody believes, and that's why we're digital tonight. I'm just a hologram, a 3D image. You can't see through me. I'm invisible, you see. And every word you will dismiss and say that's just poetry. But what if we need each other to form community? What's that mean? Well, it's fish and chips and we celebrate because eating is legal and dealers have paid. And I tell you, it's a beautiful thing to see. But when it comes down to food for thought, just ask me. No one reads anymore, all the libraries closed door. They ain't got the funding anymore, it's all been thrown away. But F1 and other projects today occupy your space and time. We need your mind today. I say, come on, conscious one, come on, autonomous sons and daughters of the evolution. You know we need your solutions.
song right here is called Voicemail.
Yes.
I saved your voicemail. I like to listen to you. You're complicated, so it's all I can do. Your secret's hiding, maybe more than a few. And I try to help, think I know what to do, but I'm working. I can't answer the phone. Still, it's your fault. I spend night times alone. You're always hoping I will look better. My family says that I should forget you. I'm kinda simple. You don't like my display. I'm a monkey. You should try it my way. So I listen to your voice when I can. It's my pleasure, and I'm only a man. You could love me, could be easy for you. I'm like it's simple, like the animals do. You're always hoping I'll look better. My family says that I should forget her. I'm kinda simple. You don't like my display. I'm a monkey. You should try my way. You could love me, come and visit me now. I've done my part, and I know you know how. I save your voicemail, I like to listen to you. You're complicated, so it's all I can do. That's called voicemail. This is called Perfect Person, our managed impression. Look at you, you're perfect
talking heads. That was once upon a time. Brian Eno. Now it's really good. Yeah, it's good to love. It's legal. Until they find out. And then it's sort of like you start off dreaming and you think you're all alone on a little cloud, no one's ever going to hear you. Up there in the Akashic records, every word is treasured like a semi-precious jewel. And someone on another cloud sends a telepathic message saying, I'm a poet too. Where do poets meet? And you say the 2 4-letter words, open mics. Where? Every night. And then they meet again, they form a little circle, and they meet around a table and they have a potluck. This happens everywhere. It's a secret. Don't tell everyone. Because if they did, they'd be happy all the time. And people have a love affair with misery, and failure, and depression, and despair. It really works for them. Oh my God! Death. You know, they've got this cult of death. Like something silly like war, conflict, arguments. Don't tell them how happy you really are. It'll blow them away. But what I'm saying is, no one is alone. And sometimes, if there's enough joy in every circle, a festival starts. Like we have the Austin National Poetry Festival. About 3 weeks ago, there was a new festival happened at Houston Hilton, the first Austin Feminist Poetry Festival. And it was sensationally beautiful. It was an architecture of images and sounds and people. It was so wonderful. And we just happened to have one of those poets who made that happen. Liza Francis. Yeah! Who is also, like most of the hosts, incredibly wonderful poet and truth teller. One of the ones she did is about what you would tell someone, a young person, to live in this world. What would you tell them if they said, should I go naked on the internet? You know, those, well, the sexting, whatever they call it. It's what you might call an elder wisdom song. It's sort of like, it's not a poem, it's a piece of truth that you really would tell the young, because they need to know you don't need to do that. Stay away from that bling bling, stay away from the Paris Hilton Hotel. Liza, I will listen to the real.
Thank you, Tom. I'm so honored to be here for your birthday, and really just, I feel like, you know, when I first came here, I don't know if he remembers this, but I went to an open mic at Rudamaya, and he's giving me all kinds of poetry stuff, and being like, come to this and come to that, and I was like, really? And I'm busy with my son. I've got a son who actually shares the same birthday. He's turning 3 today, so very excited. But Tom has just been like an amazing presence in the poetry community, I think just everywhere. I'm always like, the man's a ninja. He shows up like amazingly, like ninja! At places, yeah, ninja! I mean, he shows up at these places everywhere around town, supporting and really bringing people together. And I just think it's so incredible, and I think it's just really a gift to Austin and to the, you know, to the world, really, that he just, you know, it's like, come to this, do this, poetry, awesome, come. And he's supportive, and it's just wonderful. So thank you, Tom. Happy birthday. It's awesome. And since he's introducing my poem about, yeah, I'll start with that. This is called On Being Asked by a Friend's Daughter If She Should Send Naked Pictures to a Guy. I say don't. I say you're better than that. I remind you of your straight A and 1B report card. I say as soon as they're out of your hands. I pick up one of your framed baby pictures on the shelf. The afternoon air is stagnant. I say what grandmothers say. I say what mothers say. Part hell no with an exclamation point, part question. I ask, what if you break up? I say, have you been on the internet? I say, my kitchen table is more scratched than yours. The air conditioning comes on. I say, when I was young. I say, what's the rush? I say, I've never even seen a naked picture of myself. I say, you might not want everyone to see them later. I tell about the first date at Capo's Italian restaurant, which I never liked, and then how he proposed to me there a few years later. By the way, that's my husband. I say naked pictures won't turn you into a reality TV star. I say it's not worth it. I say it's as cheap as an open seat at a XXX video store on the side of I-35. I say, show me the pictures. I act like I will throw the phone. I say, if you can't show me, I say, he's not worth it. I say, if he was worth anything, he wouldn't ask. I say, wedding bells ring from a church on Central Avenue. I say, a woman doesn't have to get married. I ask his name. I I ask, when are you graduating? I ask, did he send you naked pictures? I say, I don't even like reality TV. I ask, is a woman sending a man naked pictures the same thing as a man sending a woman naked pictures? I say, these things have to be thought out. What color hair does he have? I say, he must like to hike and write like you. I say, his mother must be proud. I say, this is your body. I say, don't just let anyone have it. I almost start talking about fashion trends. I say, it's a choice you have to make. I say, the phone is for talking. I say, you deserve better. I say, call me if you need to. Can I do one more? Yeah, okay, I'll do one more. Okay, this is called Road Trip. And we've been road tripping a lot and have a friend here from Silver City, which is really exciting, New Mexico. So this is called Road Trip. We rode our stiff legs and necks in the silver Toyota hatchback from Albuquerque to Alabama. Melted Snickers bars on our pants, and the road was our shepherd. In Roswell, we sat on the ruptured green asphalt of the old tennis court behind the Dairy Queen, eating peppermint blizzards like it wasn't December, and we hadn't seen snow up the highway in Vaughn. In Texas, we complained about the small pancakes at the IHOP in Fort Stockton, and perused the library books in Ozona with our Skittle-stained palms. We left our son's wind-up toy at a dusty rest area outside Dallas, and in Shreveport, Louisiana, took that friend I once knew with her large gold gong earrings out to dinner. I have loved the many long driving hours beside you, far better than the short plane trips that quickly whisk us to our destination. I remember each town like a palm reading, and each day undressing itself in all its colorful glory to make way for the night. Thank you. And happy birthday.
I gotta tell you about the cake, by the way. Dolce de leche and Death by Chocolate. You know, just be brave. Where is it? Tim. You just gotta go and buy it. It's up there. It's been handmade, homemade. It's a work of art. This whole place is a work of art, by the way. This Alice, the artist, right there behind the counter, servant of the servants of the servants, and the walls. That's her art, the nail art there. I come from what's called the hippie tradition. I failed sex, I failed drugs, I failed rock, I failed roll, I had to drop in, had a haircut. So I'm the happy tradition, you know? Foolishness. But she comes from the punk tradition, which is good. I'm gonna make art out of everything. And she does art out of everything. That's her art. And Scott's art is that one up there. And that's the Empire. Don't worry about that. But we have people who are addicted to happiness. They come on Saturday nights from 6 to 9. And you're all invited. That's tomorrow night. But here's a sample. Samuel, can you show them what you do on Saturday nights here? Whoa, Sam Bean, what? Hey, whoa, thank you. It is now. Woo! It's on.
Happy birthday.
I've seen that. Thanks so much. Thanks for being here for it. Yeah, like that. Exactly. On the boat.
I did.
I was on the interstate for an hour.
Don't forget the cake. Beautiful cake up there, just waiting for people. I think what was wrong was technology. That was a mistake. You know? I mean, it's not just Geminis have to represent the spirit of the earth. It sure is.
The 26th of May.
Yeah, we celebrated perfectly. But then she's doing the right thing, coming reciprocation. Element, element. Gemini's are loyal too, you know? Because the Gemini spirit is reflected, you know? People don't go for laughter and joy. Somber and serious and dark. Light and joy. And this is darkness and shadows. And we just
Tap your beans! Damn! Yeah! Woo!
They say the old laughing lady dropped by to call. And when she leaves nothing at all. Drunkard of the village falling on the street. You can't tell his ankles from the rest of his feet. He loves his old laughing lady 'cause the taste is so but you can't keep. There's a tripping on the stairway. It don't feel right. There's a rumbling in the bedroom and a flashing of light. There's the old laughing lady. Everything's alright. There's the old laughing lady. Everything's alright. Nobody can tell me it's time to go home. I changed my way of thinking so that I'm exhaling foam. It's a light one missing from that mechanized device. It got me in stitches. It wants to exercise my mind. Strangers in the fire. I got a picture of you, I keep it in my head. I keep it within me, and then I take it to bed. Somebody mistook the rice for the flour. In this final hour, ain't no telling what's a heart, what's a liar. Or we just strangers in the fire. Ain't no telling what's a heart, what's a liar. Strangers in the fire. You say I'm fancy, you say I'll just do. You butter me up so that I'll cook in your stew. Somebody threw me for a loop. Somebody else mistook my home for a chicken coop. Ain't no telling what's a heart, what's a lie. We're just strangers in the fire. Ain't no telling what's a heart, what's a lie. We're just strangers in the fire. Thank you very much. My name's Samuel Bean. Sam does a lot of ordinary songs, but his magic stuff is when he improvises. There's a lot of people hooked on past. We got Testament. But they forgot that four-letter word. La 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 la. And everybody talk. The walls and walk. I don't know any worrying words at all. That's it, it's time we should howl. When the moon is full as well. Dive deep into the collective psyche. In the name of love and harmony. How did this happen here?
We're searching for number 12.
I thought they tried to make it clear. Thou shalt not divert from the path. But isn't your life the one made art? There you go again, painting paradise. William Blake upon the wall on high. All around, living hot fire. Elemental and primal from the days of Cain. This is the way that people play. Put aside the books of the past that say all you got to do is set it and obey. Time to call your primal wire. I live in air, water, earth or fire. We are elemental, we are primal. And there ain't no escape from this only earth, you know. Whether you're bones or ash, away you'll go. Only time will tell whether you'll glow. Whichever way you want to fly, on you go. Nobody knows, J.R. Nobody knows. No matter what they say, we make mistakes on the way. There ain't no other way that humans can play. We will meet again some other day. Sit round the campfire and start to sing and say, I remember when we started to dance and sing. And then you recall your primal dream. Green News Cafe, Art and Life. Benjamin Franklin, $100 night. J.R. Ryan, evolutionary. Liza Wolf Francis, community. Now I call her beloved up, but he has words like a living map. And everybody, of course, knows where it's at. Look in the mirror, there's a smile in that. Here he is. Welcome up. Happy birthday, Tom. Any other poets in the house?
My name is Lee Francis. I have the wonderful pleasure to be married to that beautiful woman over there. So this is, and I got one of my best friends here this evening. So this is a new poem that I'm going to do. You happy about that? A little love over there. So this is I got poets in the house tonight. A few poets, I think.
Oh, brother.
So this is a pantoum, if you know this particular form. And this is about growing a garden. So this is also dedicated to my son on his birthday. It's called Making It Last. There are gardens everywhere we look, and they are green and they are golden. We must be careful to let them tangle and twist in the sunshine, unafraid to step into the unknown stories that wrap around each leaf and stem, and unafraid of hard times, always unfinished, always reaching into the sky. We must be careful to let them tangle and twist in the sunshine, these mustard seeds. They will grow tall and joyous from strong soil, and unafraid of hard times, always unfinished, and always reaching to the sky, they will blossom and grow in ways we are not even able to imagine. These mustard seeds, they will grow tall and joyous. From strong soil, they emerge with prayers on their leaves, which we will eat and form stories. They will blossom and grow in ways we are not even able to imagine. From months ago when we first pressed our hands into the earth, they emerge with prayers on their leaves, which we will eat and form stories. These ancient plant dreams remind us that we are also mustard seeds. From months ago when we first pressed our hands into the earth and began a journey of growing, and now we understand. These ancient plant dreams remind us that we are also mustard seeds, unafraid to step into the unknown stories that wrap around each leaf and stem and begin a journey of growing. And now we understand there are gardens everywhere we look, and they are green, and they are golden. So a pantoum is a repetition form, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you use the second and fourth lines as the first and third lines of the next stanza. So it's a tangle of a garden in and of itself. So this is for my friend Damien. So tonight, I'm not a poet, or a writer, or anything else but a teacher. And before you go, I have one assignment for you. It's very simple, so pay attention. I want you to write. That's it. No more, no less, just write. Write a poem, write a story, write a novel, write a note, just write. Write it long or short, neat or messy, upside down or backwards, just write. Use pen or pencil, bluttering, smoke or water, doesn't matter, just write. I want you to write the way you want to be held by a lover in the middle of the night. Write the steam of your first cup of coffee, the smoke of your first cigarette, the blood of your first heartbreak, never mind the spelling, just write. I want you to write a playground and the laughter of children who aren't afraid of tomorrow. Write a sunset, write a rainbow, write a constellation, and then try this. I want you to write a romance novel about the first time you... I want you to write a detective story where the main character searches for all the weight or socks or people you've lost over the years. I want you to write a cookbook about how to make the perfect gingerbread houses in the still cold winters of your childhood, and then I want you to write a letter to your grandmother the day before she said goodbye. Write all the things she's taught you, all the things she's meant to you, and then write her face on the back of your eyelids, write the lines of her hands, write the feel of her skin, just write. I want you to write a rhythm and rhyme and sound and body your whole body, exploding in sentences and paragraphs and exclamation points and a little... I want you to write in both tones and saxophones and castanets and electric guitars, so raw, so powerful, it would make Metallica look like Justin Bieber. I want you to write a tree. Its branches intertwining with the sun, each leaf a poem, each bud a song, each song a story of ancient times and endless days, spent basking in the radiant glow of 1,000 voices singing. I want you to write journey to a far-off land where you don't know the language, but you understand the words. I want you to write a symphony to end the suffering and heartbreak of 100, 1,000, 1 billion people spinning in place. Write a Japan before the bombs. Write a New Orleans before the storms. Write a September before the ashes. Write a world without hatred or anger or violence or fear. And then write a day, a week, a month, a year in the life of a child, a stranger, a lover, a friend. And then I want you to write your life, your heart song. Your past, your present, your future, and that day when you can finally rest from your labors, that day when all things bright and beautiful come to pass and there are fireworks and glorious music, and your words drift on the particles of light and dreams in that brief, brilliant moment of sleeping and waking when all things are possible, because tonight I'm not a poet or a writer or anything else but a teacher. Yes. And I have one assignment for you. I want you to please just write. Thank you.
I think we had another poet who was waiting to go on next.
My fellow Americans, on this Flag Day, the last poet did that Pentagon thing. Well, I do. Oh, you've heard of iambic pentameter. Well, I do iambic. Considering the history of consciousness, we are pretty far out. If you look on the right side. Now, getting away from animal heredity, we can be some pretty groovy creatures. If you look on the bright side. Celebrating the spirit, it's a freedom jazz dance. Give me a little freedom now. Freedom! Freedom, the universal kingdom of the mind. We've come a long way, and the best is yet to come. If you look on the bright side. Now sure, there's a lot more to do, and we can do it too. No limit to potential is true. Even if you blow a few, if you look at the bright side. So what I'm trying to say to you, even if you're blue, really nothing to do. Just look at the bright side. And boogaloo. On the bright side. Now we know that Tom's a big fan of country music. What? So I'm going to do my token, talking country blues. Yeah, it's what is this? This is a song with a message. Yeah, that's what it is. True story. Titled Get Along. Well, they asked me to write this here song. Write it with some get up and get along. So I sat right down with my pen, and this is how it did begin. It's a ballad number 12 bar blues about a poet dude who's paying dues. Classic tale of Beach Street Jim and the hunger pains that haunted him. Was the start of an artist trip. if he did. Well, he was hungry for this, he was hungry for that. He was hungry for food, and he was hungry in the abstract. Like for adventure and knowledge and love. And politically, he was tit for tat. Any questions, Jack? Don't give him no flack. Cut him some slack. He's looking for a lady to share a shack. He was hungry in the sack. Now, the hungry's got downright serious as he went along. So that's why I was writing this here song. He's in it for the bread. So they said. Now, I don't know if that's all true. He might just want to entertain you. But there's a moral to this song. It takes some bread for your get-up to get along.
Yeah.
All right, on this momentous occasion, Tom's birthday. We do have a birthday poem. It happens to be a seasonal poem. Oh, by the way, just in the news right now, the song Happy Birthday was used in a documentary, and like Warner Brothers wants $1,500 from this small-time documentary person for using Happy Birthday. I just heard that today. Okay, here we go. This is a little seasonal piece. We have to be 6 months behind time or ahead of time. Look at it that way. Yeah, 150 more shopping days. This is titled Tom's Blues, or JC's Blues. Here we go, from the top. Happy birthday, JC. All laid back in the manger. Digging on the star that's digging on you. Vibing to mom and dad, the sheep and the shepherd. Those three cats with the super stash, and Big Daddy of the MC this kid. Got off to a pretty good start. But Jesus. Jesus! The world gets heavy, doesn't it? I think you had it, man. Like, I think righteous is where it's at. Yeah, but you had a connection on the inside, an ace in the hole. All we got is those lines you gave us. That's cool. Yeah, but we still gotta pay rent. Yeah. But like you said, it's the spirit that counts. Happy birthday. Merry Christmas. Take it out.
J.R. Ryan is a legendary poet on the streets of Austin. In the 80s and the 70s, this was the street poet of Austin. This was a man who went out there with his 25-cent broadsheets and actually sold poetry and stayed thin, but he stayed creative. Now this town they call the Velvet Coffin. It's comfortable, but the musicians are thin as guitar strings. Because there ain't no money when there's a million people who are all paradise and they sing. And every open mic, you know, there's an empty tip jar at the end of the evening. But there are poets and musicians who join together to make this ring with a resonance and a reverberation that sings and says that while we're alive they can control our architect of emotion that's called creativity. Abraham Maslow said that you got your basic desires, food and shelter, but then what you gonna do if you can't live a life of freedom and liberation just like Zen? You may have a Japanese temple inside your flowered garden. How can you share it with someone unless there's a place to gather on it? Need answers to rise up and join in the reverberation. Don't be addicted to the television idea that we're all distant apparitions. We are human, and while we are human, we can reach out to humans through the technological technological innovations that would distance us and say we're simply slaves. But no, we can rise up and show them how people used to dance and sway. Dance and sway. That's the way you dance and sway, yeah. Even in your chair, you float away, your mind's eye away. You're there and here, you're in several places all at once. It's easy. They say just stare at things and it will happen by itself. But you are activators of the future dimensions, and if you resile from your personal responsibility, tell me who then will respond to poetry, because it lives inside the human skin, not just oracles. You recall when they spoke to you in oracles, they said everything will be a dream and you will wake up then. But what if they were simply saying what you don't believe in? Your own belief system is calling for someone to speak to your own being. Ain't anyone imaginary? No, inside your soul, you are the poetry. And when death and despair knock upon your door there, you say, I ain't going your way, I got my own life to play. And consciousness is a game that we are sharing while we're here in this human skin. Let your dreams coming out again. Come on, come on in again. Come on, come on. Down the back there, you awake. Someone is done inside him. He wants to let it shine. Who's going to say no? Here he is. Expression.
Hello. So I'm visiting from Silver City, New Mexico. And I'm having an awesome time. Austin is fun. Really amazing, all the art here. So I'm visiting my good friend Lee. This is for him. I have daydreams of chalk line diamonds, littered with salt-sucked sunflower seeds. We got Liza, and the line grew shorter. Wood-kissed, red-stitched, grass-stained leather with a cracked blessing our ears with the summer's arrival. We got Lee, and the line grew shorter. Dazzled eyesight afternoons, waiting for that pop fly that turned the unpopular kid into a momentary hero. We'll take coffee, and the line grew shorter. Thorn scratched, dust dashes, searching for the perfect stick that would turn me into a tribal warrior. The days were longer then. Twilight kissed me nightly with its magic, and I raced streetlights and chased carnivals. Handlebar balanced acts that gave way to wet floor locker room ribbon. Of who was K-I-S-S-I-N-G, sitting in trees and braving the diving board of the gods. See, we got Jessica. The line grew shorter. Midnight dreams of milk-laced Oreos, morning memories of Pee-wee's Playhouse, Cocoa Puffs and fruit roll-ups, book bags left unzipped and forgotten under crumpled clothes, tornado twirls of momentary mayhem. We'll take sand. The line grew shorter. Calling up names to begin the game, and the line grew shorter, but I still remain. We got Tom, and the line grew shorter. Finally called to duty, and we all raced for our field-strewn midst with beliefs of if you stood long enough, you were invisible. Special shoes made you uncatchable, and no tree was too tall, even after that fateful day when the top branch gave way to flight, crushing the breath from you like fresh squeezed lemonade. We'll take Zach. The line grew shorter. The days were longer then. Drunk on dandelion wine, time flew like jet pilots and dreams of space travel. Twilight kissed me nightly with its magic, and I raced my innocence to be first into adulthood. We got Damien. And the line was gone. Don't mind if I do one more? We got Dan! See, they told me that mathematics was the language of music.
Ah, I lied.
Music is the language of love, so I said, draw me up a cramped chalkboard full of notated equations on lost love's dedications to universal radio stations. Woo! Or something to that effect. You see, I've never been very good at math. It's true. I was always that kid that sat in the back of class reading my science fiction novel, and this point could be proven by examining all of my past relationships. Unfortunately, the shortest distance between point A, T, and point B, her, has never been as simple as a straight line. I think I've always been more of an English person. A storyteller, if you will. So go ahead, ask me about love, and I'll tell you how I want to take your breath away. Steal the speech from your lungs and stretch it out skin tight like a drum to play the rhythm of God. I know how kisses taste like butterflies. Beatboxing psychedelic syncopated rhythms on the backsides of your brain pan. Ask me about love and I'll tell you how Romeo and Juliet, yeah, they finally got it right. They learned how to tickle their tragedy and make it say uncle so they could disappear into the night, or how your body is 98% water. My soul the sun. Last night while you slept, I collected rainbows between my fingertips so I could lace my lips with a Kodak color kiss and wake you in the morning. Ask me about love and I'll tell you how late at night, when you're not home, the lights are off, I sit in our room and make up words. Words like Kumptiga. Kumptiga! This describes that moment that you come walking through the door. I jump from the bed while Calvin and Hobbes styles rolling you up in my arms to kiss you. Kumptiga! Ask me about love and I'll tell you how right now, this very moment, somewhere on the other side of the world, Godzilla rising from the ocean. So we can finally catch that last few seconds of sunrise for inspiration and finally get that love letter he's been writing to Mothra just right. I think it goes something like, Dear Mothra. Nailed it. Claw mark, heart, Godzilla. Ask me about love and I'll tell you how right now a woman is trying on a shoe that fits perfectly. And it's a size frickin' 10. She's 350 pounds, 5'4", and her Prince Charming is in love with her for who she is. He writes her post-it notes and puts them on her mirror in the morning that say things like, I love you. You're divine. I'm so glad you're mine. Will you meet me for breakfast? Bacon or sausage? Smiley face. See, all I ever wanted to do was write you a happy ending. But lately, all my other actors have come out kind of empty. Turns out that starlight burns holes through butterfly nets, and Romeo and Juliet, well, they decided to poison each other after all, and I'm pretty sure Godzilla got writer's block and said, screw it! Decided to rampage Tokyo anyway. I know it doesn't all add up, but I'm that kid that always got stuck working out my problems in the back of class, so loan me your calculator. Or let me borrow your abacus. I think I just met my girlfriend who I love dearly and I'm going to propose to her soon. And I finally worked out this equation. How 1 plus 1 equals 2. The square root of love, well, that's me and her. All I ever really wanted to do was take your breath away. Thank you.
The buffet of your goodwill is
going to be supplemented by an astonishing thing called the Osmic City Cafe. On Saturday nights, we're here from 6 to 9, which is tomorrow night. Most of you have been in this apparition before, but some of you have gone out to Dripping Springs, down to Silver Springs Road, and sat round an octagonal table. And there you have been presented with a buffet of magnificent proportions, and I'm not just talking about food. I'm talking about the idea that ideas still have currency and sway, and that we can actually articulate them and share them and communicate these days. Not past retro riffs, no. Not future dimensions, no. In this moment now, I introduce to you Anya Deschamps.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. And yes, we do have Osmic City, Austin, Texas. Let me tell you really quickly about Osmic City, Awesome and Cosmic. We have begun a new movement, and I'm working with the Austin Chamber of Commerce to get a new description of Austin that describes us as being marvelously universal, awesome and cosmic. Osmic City, Austin, Texas. And we have a television show that I've been featuring poets. Probably will feature about 240 poets, if not more, called Osmic City, Austin, Texas TV. It's Channel 11 on Wednesday evenings at 7, between 7 and 7:30. So you might see some of your friends and poet friends. For sure you'll see Tom, the world poet, and other names that he has. You can see Patricia Fisk. There's just so much. The Austin International Poetry Festival is featured on there. So also be looking for Osmic City, Austin, Texas radio in the fall. And so we're going to have the cafe tomorrow night, and you're welcome to bring anything for the potluck. It's a potluck, but there is a full dinner already. And when the poetry and great music gets out in the country, it's almost like a retreat. So we welcome you to come out there. If you need directions, then you can contact me through email. Anya7777@AOL.com. So I want to thank Tom for everything he's done to support me getting a lot of these things going. He's been a lot of the ideas about getting the poetry venues in Austin, keeping them going. And so that was the basis of me featuring some of these venues in Austin, as many as I could, to support the peace through cultural arts and education. So we welcome you to come out tomorrow night in Dripping Springs, 7:30, okay? Thank you. Happy birthday, Tom!
I made promissory notes to the future. I said you will be heard. Every open circle, every open night. And I have to say, in the sky there's not one star, lone star stay. Ha! Look in the sky at night. There's splashes of constellations. Look in this room tonight. Splashes of light. So I take this open mic and I make it truly open tonight. Here's Patricia Fisk.
Hey, this is great. It's wonderful to be celebrating Tom's birthday. You know, he's a really, really special man, and I just honor him so much. He's one of the most authentic people I have ever known. And I'm writing a memoir now. I'm 86 years old, and I'm writing a memoir about my naughty days. And anyway,
are you sure they're over?
No, they're not over. Okay. Tom just gave me Lady Sings the Blues during the holidays, and I met her in New York.
Oh yeah.
In the 40s. You know, I met a lot of wonderful, wonderful jazz greats. I was there at the most auspicious time a jazz lover could be in New York, and I just treasure it so, and I've tried to write about it. You know, send it off to other people. I read this poem one night at Antone's, and my daughter, who was dating her future husband, it was their first date, and she chose to bring him to Antone's, and I read this poem. I didn't know she was there. Oh well, y'all really invested. Transplanted black girl, obsessed with men and sex and singing her sad songs. Just past 20, hard times girl in a big city, sweet, sweet Billy, listening to lyrics, smoking a joint, digging Bessie, missing the point. My man don't love me, treats me awful mean. My man don't love me, treats me awful mean. Transplanted Texan, obsessed with man and sex and Billie Holiday. Just past 20, small town girl in a big city, swinging at Birdland, listening to lyrics, smoking a joint, digging Billy, missing the point. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Back at home, Texan, obsessed with self, not sex or Billie Holiday, way past 20. Small town girl in a Texas city, still dreaming of Birdland, listening to lyrics, missing that joint, digging Bessie, and finally getting the point. I ain't gonna play no second fiddle, 'cause I'm used to playing lead. I come down hard on abortion, and I guess not against, but for. It's a woman's choice, and so I described two very difficult times in my life, one in Texas, one in New York, and contrast them, and it seems I need a poem to go with it, and thinking through this thing, you know, well, the poem speaks for itself. Taxing popsicles. Encouraged by ignorance in some religions, popping out weed popsicles by papal decree. Overpopulation is still a problem, easy to see. What happened to the clamor of a few years ago regarding our planet's severe overpopulation as Ehrlich called for zero growth in our nation? Global warming now, environmentalists focus. Gore's keyhole vision doesn't go to the source. Having too many people has sent us off course. Larger families get more bang for their bucks, use more public services, cause more pollution. Could taxing over 2 children be a fair solution? Godless China thought that they had it licked. Government made a 1-child per couple rule. Then the boys outnumbered the girls in school. Since girls' fetuses weren't born but aborted, families once filled with boy children pride now have sad ones left searching for a bride. Our country can't make rules like the Chinese, but we can penalize those who greedily breed and reward those who are guarding their seed. We need leaders who will fearlessly cast votes, ignoring warnings that come from the Pope, have some integrity, and give us some hope. Woo! Okay, I'm going to end with one that I think might be a good, you know, I'm getting up there. I'm thinking about what could be, well, here it is, Sister by Choice. My dear friend, who's in her 90s incidentally, my dear friend calls me her sister by choice, a choice that thrills me and touches my soul. This has given me an idea. I feel I'm its voice. Other friends and family make my family whole, brothers and sisters by choice to a family. Tom's one of them. And opportunities to get love and needed support. Though families weren't chosen, all is not bad. Of my kin, I have nothing but good to report, and when my big family leaves me behind, memories will live on deep in my heart. And if I go first, may their memories be kind. Let my life live on in each heart. Become part.
Some people will never ever end because they always have a song in their heart. And two examples are all of you, with multiple personalities. And these two over there by the RC Royal Club. Oh, yes, that's Magic Jack and Peggy Wright. Now, you know quite well. Here we are. Have a listen to this.
We worked up a little something here for His Majesty's birthday.
His Majesty's birthday.
Everyone, His Majesty. Thom, the World Cup. Yes. Now, if you're old enough, you'll probably remember this. You should probably plug it.
No, wait, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Look right here.
A lot of wires.
Someone will, maybe roll wire.
Got a million wires.
Oh, come on.
Thank you. This mic just for
You got it.
Guitar's older than I am.
Yeah.
I'm almost as old as Thom the World Cup.
No, you're not.
Well, he gets up in the morning, gets down to his desk. Yeah.
Talking about you.
To write down words of poetry that he dreamed of in his rest. He's a charming little fellow, a roly-poly man. Always glad to help you and lend a helping hand. And he's so sublime. Never gives a care if the poem even rhymes. He's nifty, thrifty, Aussie with twinkling Irish eyes. He wears all kinds of costumes and he comes with a surprise. But you see him here and there, all about the town. He doesn't have much hair, but he never has a frown. Well, he's oh so good, he's so sublime. Never poem, if a poem never rhymes. Well respected man about town, sharing his poetry without a frown. He'd never frown, he's so good, he's so sublime. Never has a care if a poem even rhymes.
Good job. Good job.
Goes pen and pen and pen, and write and write and write. Keep that candle lighted all throughout the night. Yes, it's pen and pen and pen, and write and write and write, and keep it fresh and new. If you're planning to recite, and he's oh so good, he's so sublime. He never has a care if that poem never rhymes. Well respected man about town, shares poetry without a frown. Never frown. Well, he's out there every evening, except for Monday night, to lead his bands of poets respected man of our time, sharing poetry without a frown. Thank you very much. It's new, it's fresh.
She has.
Yes. Take me right.
I got a new code for like, plug in the 5-minute warning, Tim, the 5-minute warning.
I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be your friend, and I'm honored to be singing with Peggy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
Actors everywhere. Always smiling.
Yes, they do it quickly.
Yeah.
Bottom on the chair. Bottom on the chair. Good job.
You just gotta box them in. Safety first.
I'm not sure. Not sure. Same time, same place? All right.
Check.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Just a little freak out. Everybody calm down. That's my trick. Including me. Okay, so, see how's the guitar sound?
It can be heard.
It can be heard, okay. So this song, I wrote actually when Anya said, "Would you please sing a positive song about 12, Osmic City, Austin Cafe?"
Yeah.
Not cafe, but you know what I'm trying to say. So this is called Find Your Joy, because I want to sing this tonight because Tom always encourages people to find their joy and to share it. That's the truth for me about Tom, is that he encourages people to share their joy. And it's just really special because I just started like doing this, several months ago when I felt like I just need to get out there. And Tom was at the first open mic I went to, and he's been there. I just really appreciate you. So this is called Find Your Joy.
I'm Joey Broom.
Nice to meet you. Can you really hear the guitar?
Yeah, it's pretty pale.
All right, well, turn it up a little bit for me.
Who needs open mics when you have open toms?
We're not plugged in. Should we be plugged in? Sing too? So, $2, is that okay? Yeah. All right. All you gotta do is ask for help. And you get it. I love that. Thank you. All right. In the corner of my room, you've been waiting for a long, long time. In the corner of my room, you've been waiting, calling me to open what is mine and yours. You've whispered to me many times before, tugging at my sleeve for more.
I've always shied away from you, not believing what is real and true. Find your joy and find your way. Painter, poet, and friend. Find your joy and find your way. Share your gift within. On this day you are here to celebrate the dream you hold inside. Make the world a better place. Open your heart and find. You will find. Find your joy and find your way. Painter, poet, and friend. Find your joy and find your way. Share your gift within. Share your gift within. Share your gift within.
Most of us are public recluses, which means that even though we're out in public together, we actually are solitary beings in our creative processes. And I want to acknowledge Sarah Wilson before now. Sarah hosted the Hideout for umpteen years, and it was just a positive, welcoming presence at a very difficult venue. Hideout was a place, well, it's gone now. They basically said, poets, you don't bring in enough money. You know, we'll have those improvisers. They'll pay to rent the theatre. But Sarah kept it together until her health gave out, and she's made a lot of effort to be here tonight. Thank you very much, Sarah, for everything you have done to keep poetry alive for people, and being the poet yourself. And at her wedding, everyone was given seeds in the form of the invitation to plant in their garden, which is like a metaphor for all of you, you know, being the seeds of whatever's going to grow in the harvest of the future. So thank you for being there. But also want
I have a whole bunch of.
Oh, this way. We got.
Really cool, little hearts.
They are.
Playing the whole thing.
Can you bring them out?
Yeah.
Good. You haven't gone with you now, have you? No.
But I have a lot of stuff I'm moving, so there's a lot.
You'll be back. We haven't seen her for years and years and years.
10 years. Well, I've seen you at my wedding, but I haven't been to it something like it. 10 years and 3 months. Never too late, John. It's
never too late. Absolutely true. Also want to acknowledge Linda Anderson. Linda Anderson is a wonderful artist, and is a mock. She does this when we do usually what's called wassail, where the pagans and the Christians dance together without anyone getting hurt. The backdrops are done by Linda, and a wonderful artist. But most of all, it's very rare for people to listen, and you've given that gift tonight. But what happened was, when my friend Bob Knight came over, a lot of people saw him and said, oh yeah, yeah. And she said, we can do this with the children at the school she's at. So she did a mud workshop, and then at her own home, there's mud faces on the trees there, when every Friday they have the Green Man Cafe. And she didn't want me to say all this stuff because she's a shy, modest, incredibly talented and sensitive soul. And they're the people who need to be prime ministers and presidents and governors, but they don't want to be. They realize creativity is its own reward. Which brings me to the family of poets, Christiana, and your son wants you too? Yes. Christiana Colgrove, from San Antonio to Austin, now here.
Tom is a legacy. And I remember writing this shortly after I met him in 1991.
Wow!
Or excuse me, like 2001. The figures when I'm celebrating, whatever. Left Behind. I was wondering what the fellow passed on legendary creators would say to me where they come and see me, sitting on my fattening hump of a rump. Would they smile and clap? I'm not sure. Would they come up from their graves to commend me on my endeavors? I think not. My script for my life has been left unrecorded, undone. My fingers are not calloused. Ink stains on my hands do not exist. Would they shake their heads and look at me in disgust? I think so. They would, these ghosts of artists past, strip me of my appointed title and shun me from the history books, accusing me of disorderly conduct of talent, because I have not conducted. Those who love me would say that I'm spending my time worth value and worth, pouring my imaginations and musings into a whole living being, a living boy. I do not scoff completely, but when will the prizes of my labor present themselves in my honor? How can I deny the biblical parable to bury one's talents, for it mocks the king and doesn't harvest well for anyone? Will my interview stimulate the youth into action? Not if I put my pen down. Not if I alleviate myself of my calling and deny the truth of my language. I owe it to my predecessors, to my child, and to me.
Yeah.
You are such a blessing. Hayden.
Your time, Hayden. Future. A family of poets.
Okay.
A beautiful thing.
Are you gonna read? He's celebrating too. He's also inspired Hayden and Parker to write their own poetry.
Yeah.
This is some of Tom's. Happy birthday.
Thanks very much.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Yeah.
Okay. Spells, incantations, chants, affirmations, and goodwill. You're connected at all times to everyone and everything you know. Mystery is a friend and a constant companion. You carry sunlight from Africa, Australia, Cornwall, and Texas. Everyone around you affirms you at all times. You're worthy of your art, dreams, breath, and life. You have many original moments yet to experience. Your life is a path, a journey, a story, a myth, a legend. You alone can do the sharing of this, yet you are never alone. Allow the seas and sand, rocks and waves of Cornwall to affirm you. Allow the bush of Africa and Australia to inform you. Allow the smiles and sunlight of Austin to find you. Treasure memories as food to digest and to mutable talent.
What is
I can't actually see that. My eyes dilated.
Tom has a good vocabulary.
I love seeing that I have 13 words for everything. Times. You are light with rainbows after storms. You are warmth with red heat, heartbeat to warm.
your life itself, with bright spirits accompanying you. Plug in, shine. This will always be your time.
Wow.
Hayden has never been. The story, Hayden, behind that one is I have a friend who's a poet who works in a hospice in Yorkshire. And she's a very, very sensitive soul. She's an artist, she's a poet, she's a healer, she does Reiki. But the problem is this: when you're around people who are dying all the time, sometimes your joy is less than their sorrow. You know, the departing into the next dimension sometimes is more powerful. And she asked for some reason to continue. So I wrote that poem for her because we travelled in Australia together, and we travelled through England together. And she is in one of the most advanced industrial areas of England that is just sort of like falling apart, Yorkshire. And she's doing something magical and by keeping people alive. And here's a couple of things she did. She's a sculptor and an artist, so she made a great big red heart. And on the heart it says, "Please hold me." So the people who will soon be leaving, they held the heart. Thank you, Malcolm. Held the heart, right? So it affirmed their heart. Another time in the garden at the hospice, she made a poetry. She asked all of us all to send poems. So she hung the poems from the tree, and as the patients went through the garden, they would pluck a poem from the tree and meditate on that in the garden. Another time she made magic cloaks, so that the people who were leaving their garment behind them would be able to wish what they wanted while they were alive. Now, wishing is part of the magic of our fantasy world and culture, that we project a vision beyond the obvious, which is what you are doing, you know. So that was what Hayden, that was what that poem was for. It was to keep the good alive. So thank you for reading it so really, really well. Yes, we've been waiting. Here's Scott Bunyan. That's his art on the wall. Scott keeps it together when we're doing expressions. Scott is recording this so that someone will get to see it sooner or later, apart from us. Here's Scott.
One mention of Tom, and then I'll let the poem speak for itself and say hopefully what we're all thinking. I believe everyone else in this room, has had the pleasure of synergizing with him. He feeds us, we feed him, we both go spiraling off into Never Never Land.
Synergizing with Tom.
Wow. There's the CD.
The voices we hear come not from these lips, or those lips, or those lips, or that guitar, but from the center of this room, where in each of our ears a poem is written that we may hear, the seeds grow within us, because words have been said that matter. And as we shine ourselves upon the dirt of our own lives and grow out of them, other people may feel the love that has come within us. The joy of this, and the joy semblance of him, is that Tom is a projection of a more universal, broader, liberating spirit. At this moment, somewhere in Tokyo, a poet with also exhibiting Tom's soul is celebrating a birthday party, and his friends, sitting in rice mats and bamboo and eating sushi, are celebrating a soul that has revealed itself, which light may grow out of them as well. In Yorkshire, in England, in Devon, in Bangkok, in Austin, in Houston, in Dallas, souls are beaming out because someone has taken the compassion and the love to say, this is what I believe in, I know not whether I am doing it rightly, but I do it just the same because someone else may need it, want it, or gain from it. I hear water in the background. Is that in this room, or is that some waterfall or spring somewhere else that's bubbling around it?
It's coming from the center of the room.
If you look out the window, tomorrow we may get rain. So that's pretty cool too. So I'm blessed and pleased to have this moment to share. There's one other thing that's coming about of this, which is a single man's birth who projects that light reflects on all of our own. As long as we are open and radiant with the love that we have for everybody, every single human thing, we all flower and blossom and share our love with others. Thank you.
Poets of the future. William Blake, whom I love, did songs of innocence and songs of experience. We live in an age of experience. We've all been through a lot. And the next poet put her time, love, and energy into keeping the hideout alive beyond all physical endurance. When health was taken from her, she had to leave. The hideout took another host, Bevan Kerrith Shaw, and gave her cancer. Sometimes hosting is because the people bring whatever they are, and sometimes it becomes part of you. But Sarah, your poetry hasn't been heard for a decade. Can we hear one tonight? Sarah, look forward.
Yes, well, it's like you never stop. I don't ever stop getting nervous about sharing anything. I love the hideout though. I remember just all I wanted was a place that I told him, I said, don't want any sign-up sheets as personal preference.
Yeah.
No censorship, none. And then I just had to make sure to myself that I was willing to be there every day from the start to the finish because that's why I did it. Because I kept going places and like 30 minutes in, they're like, well, no one showed up, so they left. And I was like, this is awesome. I feel like if people show up before the end. Anyway, I haven't written very much, so this is like something I wrote this week, and I told Tom I would come read it, and I think like what better day to come out than Tom's birthday, and to share it. So I don't know. I have a hard time not talking about poems for you. The smell of plants screaming is lovely. That of fresh cut grass, cut flowers, a final attempt to thwart shares fueled by human intent, human desires to capture a fleeting moment of beauty. I was inspired by a show. If y'all ever watch Nature, there's one about how plants communicate, and it's not just human though, it's animals or I didn't want to say like I'm not coming down on humans for cutting flowers or like that. Anyway.
I like it.
You notice Safely Limitless have a beautiful ability to transmogrify all material objects into another dimension. Amazing, amazing people, amazing musicians. The weird part is this, for about 3 years, at a place on Barton Springs, who we can't even remember the name of the restaurant, it was so long ago. Do you remember the name of it? Vinny's Italian Cafe. Thank you, yes. Vinny's Italian Cafe was an amazing amalgam because it was run by a 22-year-old genius. He really loved reading. So I'd supply him with books all the time, just keep feeding him, and he was really bright. He'd read the books and he'd really understand, and he'd have conversations. And he was also computer literate before it was fashionable. But the point is this, Vinny's Italian Cafe had no live culture except for the poets. They had a meeting of SOS, right? That was once a month. They'd be Save the Springs, but the poets, and the reason I tell you this is that Safely Limitless were the backing band, many a time improvising with the poets, so that whoever turned up, sometimes it was 2, 3, 4, you never knew if the band or the poets,
amazing things would happen. I say this now because it doesn't exist. Like so many poetry venues, it's now Pecos and dollars, something like that. Pecos and cash on Barton Springs. Don't go there. You can't live in the past. You can't eat yesterday's fish and chips, but you can enjoy Kathy Rao.
Yes. You're on.
Actually, we're going to come up and play a little thing.
You can do it, darling. You got it.
I hope he wants some percussion.
Yeah, okay, sure. You want me to do percussion? Yeah.
Well, no, go.
You want to do percussion?
Yeah, I'll do percussion and you can do, or actually, you know, Jack, can I borrow your guitar?
Aha, sure. A song from Kathy Rao. This is special.
Wait, I'm not going to sing this.
What will you do with the guitar?
I don't know.
That's a mystery.
It's a mystery to me, too. I love mysteries.
And if you don't know Kathy Rao already, you will see her at every peace event, every one of Bill Oliver's, you know, Outer Space Band. She's one of the greatest activists here in town that I know of.
It's true.
It's true.
That's a little bit of
Love Kathy Rao. She's groovy.
Using wire?
That just keeps happening. It's not my fault.
It's the drooping mic syndrome.
Yeah, that's the one. Sails under here.
Sorry, technical.
Ooh, and there's the guitar.
Hey, Tom, do you want to do some poetry? I'll do some nice little background.
Yay, more Tom.
Yeah, definitely more Tom.
More of all of us.
You just go that way.
A lot of times when Tom hosts, you get to hear him say much.
Can't do this without you. I said this before and I often mean it. Floor don't need poetry, furniture don't need poetry. We need poetry. It's a human language, it's a cry. Sometimes a cry transmutes from pain, anger, outrage into a harmony, a cacophony of wild birds outside the cage. Maya Angelou said, I know why the caged bird sings. I thought to myself, I know where the wild bird sings. Because where the real food is outside the box. I remember seeing an aviary and the tame little creatures inside the cage and the wild ones outside the cage, happy and dancing and gay, and it reminded me of you, of the wild inside you, of the fact that nobody agrees with anybody. I think that's the way we really are, a university of diversity that's natural and organic. And because we disagree, we're able to, as Leonard Cohen said, let us compare mythologies. I've often had the idea, if the poets of Palestine and the poets of Afghanistan and the poets of Syria, with their thousands of years of continuous culture, sat round as we sit round and listen to each other, then there would be no need for bombs and guns or long-distance droning conversations. But you see, the gift is not the speech. The gift is your listening. It's golden. It's priceless. It's something we all need. It's the water of your ears, the sparkle of your eyes.
Yeah.
This is something I was working on, and still working on. Merging into a lifetime. Let us sing the golden tune, full of the lifetime devotion, where love blossoms pure, sharing love's lifelong emotions. Two as one sailing together,
sharing an eternal love song where voices join together as angels singing a heavenly harmony. I'm a full-dimensional poet, so I write in my emotions. And if one does not write a sentence, how can one have an existence? That's one of my Franklin Doubledanger quotes. I use my quotes and use the Franklin persona for that. I'm still loving the Tom Austin art atmosphere. I love the full dimensions here of the town's creativity. And it's an ever-learning process where I gain new dimensions. I'm going to write one. This poem I wrote over a 4-day period, and it's called "Forever and Forevermore." Sail, heart of mine, muted in sound, screaming silent. Quiver loud the verse in time, blinded in sight, that stares minds so blank. Vibrate the depressions of extremes, within the repression wailing inside. When we stain the bearing fibers in time, to nail decomposed in resounding rhyme, that banshee wail within a spring core of prime, navigating those seasons. Navigating those reasons within weathering the seasons. Winter frozen, adrift sunlight, bleached upon grains bearing pain. Summer melted full of moonlight, when gravity weathers the rain. That drains our enlightened moors onto mellow midnight soft sails, singing adrift canvas compositions. Hemispheres contemplate in riding currents, sharing sea shoreline of searing sight. Visual vivid verse with vibrant vibrations. In ligature bond, levitating lines, alliterated vocalization that binds words aloft, calm celestial winds wearing warm undulations. Floating tranquil thoughts of celestial compilations, while approaching storm fronts are quick to change. While approaching storefronts are quick to change horizons, when nature's riptide whipped reins shifts among the brazed reins of time to navigate the turbulent turmoil, when blight fears those graven word tears, becoming this chiseled down being, a being worn down on granite headstones, at time then feels the dark side of the moon. To be, or not to be, this dramatic Shakespearean tragedy in poetry of death becoming listless, consumed by words that lay lifeless in a dead poet's society poetic stage, being this confessional living spirit testimonial that we have somehow surrendered within souls are set adrift dark shadows. That tattered, torn, seamed gasp that seemed never to again grasp verse core composite conception. But within a Shakespearean revival calamity festival, we impregnate pure drama into new levels of inspiration, where wrath-withered words wear swaths to flurry poetry alive. If we do not write a sentence, then how can we have an existence? For we must contrast stains onto fibers, where in gravity's grip we can bear down deep within this indelible ink that every tense impregnates upon a past, future, present, power, presence, bearing physical writing past that claim accomplishments. One sprout sees inner potential, poetic position, formulating these bud blossoms that must ripen up onto poetry full of fruition, where within dire stagnation we can achieve germination. That failure becomes a stepping stone foundation, where in roller coaster motions we write our celestial emotion upon individual inspiration. Of this full piece, a masterful piece creation. Poets bearing this full spectrum that spread dynamic deposition to be left behind as dust upon bookshelf cremation. Books that when opened will inflame minds onto phoenix reincarnations, you sense these grave words upon the repression of deep depression, resonating from within a skeletal future, where we share this common novel sense of a tragic ending, where within writer's words, we are treasured forever and forevermore. Thank you.
Look, this doesn't end, you know that. We go back a long way, we go further a long way. And this is a tribute to every person who's done. This wasn't a little game, by the way. I was actually born on this night, at that time, 7 o'clock, and I wanted to do it again properly with my friends. First time my mum was really busy. I said, Mum, what time was I born for astrological person? She said, oh, how would I know? I was busy. I said, Mum, you understand my friends are all astrologers and they want to know. And so, you know, I just, finally she said, oh, it was around 7 o'clock, 14th of June. So I said, okay, then I believe you, my mum, after all, aren't you? You wouldn't lie to me, would you? But no, she didn't. She had a good sense of humour. Patricia, you've got poems there, haven't you? So, well, the sacred duty is for me to bring the microphone to you. Oh, yeah. Do you want music with them? Yeah?
Not until everybody else.
Okay, who hasn't been heard? Oh, thank you, Amanda. Amanda Winters, who is star, stage, screen, and supportive.
I have a little story that illustrates what I see as a quality that I really love in Tom. One day, not too long ago, I was listening to two amazing visual artists talk about rocks and plants and jewelry and their creative process. And afterwards, I spoke to my friend in my car and said, you know, you guys really, really love what you do. That's why such amazing things come out of you. And she said, no, that's not it. She said, we love, and then this is what comes out of us.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I feel like it reminds me of a quote where they define what appreciate means. And appreciate means to notice the fine details of. And it never ceases to amaze me what Tom notices. And in what a dazzling way he exhibits, being from New Orleans, what I call a common characteristic there, which is to have an inhibition against inhibitions. And so he, with very undaunted fashion, he puts it out there, and it always challenges me to step out more. And I remember one time I showed up at a event and I read someone else's poem, and Tom gave me a can of green beans as a clue to get it together, you know. And I personally, you never know what's in his friggin' bag, you know, or what he's gonna give you on any given night. You just say no to Tom. So I personally want to thank him from the bottom of my heart for the Austin International Poetry Festival, which has changed my life for sure. And it was funny because I must have gone to 8 festivals in a row this spring, and that was the most tiring one. And the way that he fostered it for so many years, and then they kind of did their own thing, and he still came back to it because it's all about the art and the heart with Tom. So thank you for the welcome you give all of us from your deep in your soul. Thank you. I have a door prize. I forgot. Tom is never lacking to hug you, I've always noticed. And that's my favorite thing. I'm part of the Free Hugs campaign internationally. You can go to my website that's on the sticker or get a card from me, and you can see the Free Hugs video. You've never seen it. But anyway, you just make a button out of a colored file folder you steal from work. I mean, you buy or a piece of foam paper, and you make a button or you use this sticker. But let this be your starter kit, and realize that we all really yearn for connection. And I've maybe met 2 people in my whole life out of like 40,000 hugs that said no.
Wow.
And they weren't offended at all. So I encourage you to make a button or wear this tonight or some other night, and just say free hugs and grab somebody, and they're not going to stop you. And they may see it and you think you're the most popular person in the world because they're hugging you and you forgot you had it on there for a minute. And everybody gets a kick out of it. So I'm going to pass these around. Everybody can take 1 or 2 they want.
Dressed up like a drum majorette with a pom-pom hat and a wild red dress, and she hosted poets for the International Poetry Festival and became that persona of welcome.
I am the poet groupie. That is my title. I'm the poet groupie. Groupies have to wait around.
Yeah, sure. Hugs very good. Now, what Patricia's waiting for is the people who haven't been heard yet. And you've got to understand, we're a meeting of Paranoids Anonymous. We're all afraid. That's why we gather. You're not afraid. No. But for the rest of us, I'm afraid. And I realized what happened was, when I was doing the university newspaper, the police burned my newspaper, and I was very young, and I couldn't understand why they would do that, because without free speech, we really aren't human. And so I withdrew from the world for 3 years. I didn't talk to anyone for 3 years. And then I realized a simple thing. You've got 2 ways in this world. You can withdraw from the world, or you can go right into the eye of the dragon and become invisible. So then I went out on the street and gave out poetry for 10 years. And I really urge everyone to drop fear, because fear will kill you, false evidence appearing real. But Patricia's waiting for the last people who haven't been heard to be heard. So Christopher? Yes. Christopher Shroud is a wonderful artist, very modest man, very fine poet, and his poetry is incisive. He's taller than I am.
It's important to know.
Thanks, Tom. Everything that has been said tonight is true.
How incisive of you.
Who just read?
Still don't know what that means, but
Incisive? What would be incisive?
Short, conscious, and short. Yeah. Think like
no wonder I don't know what it is.
Ah! Opposite of verbose.
You took a great look at this imperial design, spending hours ruminating on the secret passage through the inner city's dreaming mechanism. Through a harvest season, you plucked out from the ground memories of startled dreamers and can foresee a seated crew of melancholy brokers. You became a warrior with love, radiating in a great sense of idea.
That's
I tell all the long-winded poets. What?
Way down the back.
Way down the back. You ready?
Good.
Yeah, come on. Let's be paranoid together. Let's welcome each other, because otherwise we don't. It's very important.
Thank you. Good evening. For those who don't know me, my name is Brian. I guess I can go ahead and share my Tom story. The first time I encountered Tom was at Kick Butt Coffee, and I'm just walking in to get, I don't know, just whatever there. And I open the door, and directly in front of me is this short, bright-eyed, cherubic man. you know, dressed in an urban clown suit with a yellow rubber ball in his hand. And I walk in the door, and he throws the ball at me. He's like, "Think fast!" And so I grab this ball, and I'm like, you know, what the smeg am I supposed to do with this thing? And so I hold on to it for a while, and he tells me the trick is, you know, to pass it on, play the game, pay it forward. I held on to the ball for a while and took a seat in a booth and sat down and opened up a notebook, and I held on to this ball. What am I supposed to do with this thing? You know, and Tom comes around, you know, with his, you know, his little chapbooks and his, you know, CDs and whatnot. He's forever gifting me, you know, with these things. You know, I was like, here, pass it on, pay it forward. You know, and I run into him from time to time wherever I'm at. And the first time I actually performed poetry in person, Tom was there. And I walk into Runa Maya on the hill, just stopping in for a beer before I go to a function over at Opal Divines. And he's like, "Hey, good to see you again. Are you ready to read some poetry?" "What, now?" Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, it's open mic, it's 5:30. I mean, happy hour, be happy." I think I had something I had written, and then I fired off like some Marillion lyrics off the top of my head.
Right.
And I passed off my camera to Tom, just said, "Well, I'm popping my cherry, you know, so let's capture it on film, as it were." And you know, it was interesting. I enjoyed it. It took me a while to come back to another one. And then it wasn't so long till I did another one, and another one, and another one.
Yay!
And Tom was always there. And, you know, always, you know, with a smile on his face and a positive word, and, you know, always encouraging me, and always with the, you know, the gifts. You know, and that's, and he really is a very warm and gentle and giving man, and you know, that's really a rare thing to find in you know, in life. Is somebody who's just so true to himself, you know, is, you know, has such a joie de vivre, and encourages and brings out the best in everybody else. And you know, I'm certainly nowhere near my best, but I'm coming out of the shell.
Yay!
And it's a warm and wonderful thing, and I wish I had a piece of, you know, supremely happy poetry to read. I'm not quite there yet. You know, I'm one of those, you know, dour poets, dressed in black with the coffee and not quite so, not quite that bad. Some days. So, and another thing Tom taught me about was about living poetry. You know, just being in the moment. You know, it's raw, it's real, it's, you know, just do it unedited. And sometimes you have to edit yourself, as I found behind this microphone last week. Much to my chagrin. So I actually wrote something that very night after being brought to tears by this wonderful lady with a uke. And wasn't she a joy?
Yes, she was.
So anyway, this is untitled, 8:30 something p.m. Tiny, tiny hearts and voices scream so loud, or is it a quiet roar? We're plucking spider webs and dancing in dewdrop showers. It's a beauty I feel I don't deserve, when careworn the body and raw the nerve that questions the sanity of world and self. How rich in poverty when poor in wealth. The wonder is not lost upon me, and I dare not lay hands upon such precious illusions, because I may close my eyes and they will disappear before my heart heals itself enough to appreciate them for what they are, and not how they may serve me. For if selfish my purpose, then may fates preserve me. I may bend, but I'm never broken. My deepest desires and fears left unspoken. My bark's much worse than my bite. Pure love has been ruined by sickness and spite. Darkness defined by night. And I sit back and pray for tears to bring me back to the light.
Ah, sweet.
Okay, good.
Wow. Last Sunday, there were 4 venues. started with Hot Mamas, then went to the Counterculture Cafe, then raced to...
Roulette first. Roulette.
Don't you love people? In the middle of the poem,
Don't forget roulette.
they say, mention the Eiffel Tower. You didn't mention the Eiffel Tower. Then the Austin Writers Roulette. Stomping Grounds Cocktail Par. Now I was racing, there were 4 venues last Sunday, 4, right? Bum, 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 bum. And I was doing my best to honour what's left of free speech, while it's still before the NSA closes every one of us down. I mean, they want to, they're listening. I want them to listen, actually. I found out a true story that there was a person in the CIA whose sole job was to listen to Osama bin Laden's poetry tapes. That was his job. He had to translate the poetry tapes. And they were sitting in a cave, and they were recording, like we're recording, poetry, blah, 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 in Arabic and that, and Urdu. And that was his job. He had to listen to poetry. Osama was a poet. Ho Chi Minh was a poet. Mao Zedong was a poet. President Carter was a bad poet. Bush doesn't know what poetry is. Library. Oh, but I digress.
Yeah.
Austin Writers Roulette at Stomping Grounds is a theme reading once a month, and is run professionally and well by our next poet, who is also a storyteller and is also an extraordinary host. So if you are free on the second Sunday of the month, go at 4 p.m. to Stomping Grounds opposite Expose, Darlington, and have a listen to this. Here's Teresa Robinson.
Teresa.
Third time.
Oh, I'm supposed to follow that, huh? Well, you'll have to read my memoir to do that. And believe me, I can top it.
I know. She's made me blush many times. It's not easy to make me blush.
But I'm going to do a different kind of poetry. When you're 86, I don't know, somehow. Been there, done that.
Teach us.
This is called Sandwich Generation, and it's for a friend of mine. I know so many people, and this was one of the worst times in my life. I was caught between teenage children and ailing parents, and it was where to put my energy, and well, I won't talk about my husband, but there was also a distraction there. So this is what this poem is about. Sandwich generation. Children to deal with, often in teens. Parents are failing. You are between. Like raw liver in menopause, trapped in generational sandwich, unforeseen. This is a trial that will make us strong. Youth is so sharp, but old age is long.
Thankfully.
So, shelter the aged, be there for youth, walk through this fire singing a song. We're forging life metal, fine as steel, strengthening love and all that is real. Youth to old age across red-hot coals, moving with burdens, hoping to heal. Nothing ahead will be quite this hard. We can face old age without a guard, beyond this sandwich feeling test. Hope holds our hand until the last reward. I've never really read that, but I send it to friends to encourage them. And this is, my husband is an artist, and he had a painting that he entitled, "Am I Not Partly Leaves and Vegetable Mold Myself?" which is a Thoreau quotation. And so I quote the whole quote. This is called Galaxy Spirit. And the quote is, "Shall I not have intelligence with the earth? Am I not partly leaves and vegetable mold myself?" Thoreau. The life of spirit seems like a spiral, like the galaxy known as whirlpool, never dying, joining universal spirit, flying off in space when mortals die. How could such energy be confined to a benign heaven or an angry hell? Perhaps spirit is a loan to mankind, given by all-knowing intelligence to help us become more godlike, giving us guidance if we listen, but not to those puny, distant gods who, led by power-hungry men, hold sway. Upon mortal body's death, some say we become merely mulch, no more. Surely Thoreau meant more than that. And one last one.
I think you'll be compost, Patricia.
I hope so. I'm trying, my early marriage was before the Women's Lib came along, and it caused a lot of problems when, you know, I bought the thing, you know, woman stays home, takes care, scrubs and takes care of the children and so forth and so on, and man goes out and earns a living. That was it. Well, you know, along comes Women Lib about the time my kids were teenagers, and kind of, you know, got me thinking along different lines. So this was just an effort to, and I'm dealing with that in my memoir right now. It's the only reason I'm reading this old poem. It's called Earthquake. As an earthquake cleaves the land, forcing half up, half down, apart, adjustments are needed to mend. An uneven field needs leveling out, bulldozers needed on both sides. There's been a seismic shift with both men and women thrust apart by a change of planes at the fault line. No fault insurance is needed here, for blame should not be assessed. Finger-faulting females skewer men. Men finger Steinem, Greer, Friedan. Chauvinism didn't cause eruption. Women's Lib didn't create the schism. Economic plates had a seismic shift. Pill freed from her uterine bondage, this always gets people. Fulfilling, rewarding work appears. Women finally have some choices. Can it be so wrong to take them? Now both share labor and reward. New fertile ground for man emerges with locations long left unexplored. His burden's lighter, now he can feel. Both need to find some level place, share passions, dreams, and hopes. Searching through chaotic landscape, both sexes stumble towards solutions. Still sheathed in armored anger, we need benign sun to melt metal and create a bridge to span the unevenness.
Woo!
Our last voice, Silver Fox. The amazing thing about venues is that different people come to different venues. Silver Fox has been itinerant at Cafe Thrice when we were there, which is Cafe Caffeine, and I think here as well. It's amazing how selective at venues, but here's Silver Fox to tell you the truth.
Well, you sing, and you're singing.
Tell him, girl.
Okay.
You tell him.
I actually came to just, my heart told me to come and sing happy birthday to you.
Follow the heart, follow the heart.
And I don't know why, but I was out in the car and I crochet, and I crocheted a rose. And since Tom is so much in touch with his feminine side, I picked this one, and it has a little clip, and you have a beautiful lady beside you.
That's true.
That is in that color. It just so happens to be. Come on, Wendy. Come on.
Oh,
Come on, Wendy, darling.
Come on.
We love you. I'm going to let this go and take a deep breath.
Sure.
And I'm just very thankful to be able to come and wish you a very special happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my dear friend Tom. We are so glad you're here. A poet for many, many, many years. You've inspired me and many too. So I came here to wish you happy birthday to you. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh, and amen too. And namaste from way out in the blue. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you.
All we can do is levitate to the next time and place when we meet again, said the vegetarian. Tomorrow night, 6 to 9 here. Sunday, 3 venues. Which is done.
Oh man, that's so many words and I flustered. Good. Even mine.
Thank you, everyone. Sure. Oh, yeah. This one, as you go, as we clean ourselves and throw ourselves out, this is for you. And when you said, my heart told me, I realized then there's a deeper truth. Your heart did tell you, and that's what brought you to us. And you follow that cycle and takes you to your truth. Because I follow you on Facebook and all the places that you go. And I know when you come, you add your glow to the show. It goes, we need all of us. We need the broken and the weak and the vulnerable, those who cannot speak, whose tongue is locked and rusted, those who yet haven't found the words to describe the world within and around them. We need every one of us all the time. That's why we gather. It takes every one of us, all of us, all the time. Take a decade to come back. Your chorus, you are an orchestra, ocean, deep as a tide. You are tsunami of change. You are tornado of emotions. You are more than you know, deeper than the sun glow. You are part of all of us, and no one person can lead us astray. When we need all of us, tonight and today, to listen to each other and simply say, we need all of us today. So no matter what you feel, no matter what you say, it all fits together in the jigsaw puzzle of the day. We listen to each other for wisdom and we say, it takes all of us to be alive today. So thank you. Thank you, Patricia, for wisdom of the crone. Thank you for Sarah for coming home. Thank you for Chris for artistry. Thank you for Benjamin Franklin, you see. Thank you for Nancy Firestein. Thank you for dear Wendy, and thank you, Amanda, for Winter True. Thank you, Silverbox, and all of you. Thank you, Kathy, and Magic Jack too. And all of us who have passed through, with the children in their arms, the elders and the ancestors, the ghosts and the shadows and apparitions, all dimensions singing, listening deep to the oceans within the waves and tides. They say this, without each of us, all of us is less.
And we are more when we are chorus. The song is skin and bone our home, but there is spirit singing through. It sings through you, it says. All of us, it takes all of us. It takes all to be the writing on the future on the wall. It just takes us all. Thank you. Thank you for being born. Thank you for being here, making this warm. Thank you for when we meet again at open mic and we listen to each other because we like each other. And it's wonderful to be exposed to the differences. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Still trying to get everything straightened out and the traffic here. Takes us
Thank you, Magic Chair. Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
This is yours. 298 North. I didn't know there were 290s until here recently. Somebody told me it's on 298 around what? It's on the later. Absolutely. I'm not to say I made it down there. I'm not to say it's such a cute town. Looks like they're well, as long as it grows and another condo fortifications, building downtown factory all the way around. I mean, it takes something.
You know Brian Cutie and Tony. I love Brian. He's a good dog. Okay, I'll take it.
there was a guy with you.
Yeah, was like all 40. So that was my, that's a blessing. But no, just remember it was just a general. I just don't want to put that poor Argos in the He's my dear friend. We were just hanging out. He was like, I think he's wonderful. And I was like,
Goodbye, birthday boy.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Very much, right.
And so when we were driving, I said, can we drop off?
You know, because they're not okay.
That is a big I'm sure this big
I'm really happy,
the books that I'm writing. That's no. I know. This is the basics are like what's
Oh, the four I was there for that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of it really good. I didn't do the book of paintings. Oh no. I was wondering if you were at Lynn. Because I showed them. I showed them
I only grew up in Austin, so it was like when most of it was maybe 2 years before.
Well, South Conference, you were there.
Yes, I think it might have been 2 months. It was 2 weeks. 2 months.
Sometimes I think it's because I let everybody write a comment on the book too.
Yeah, it really was.
You did see that.
So anyway, on that note, please get in touch with me.
Yeah, I got
People worry about their, like, you know, if they see you or something.
I think you have me covered.
Like, we were more likely to make that stuff up than realize.
I also modeling
But it is,
artist here.
I love to say
professional
bigger
and so I've been modeling with college the story on you know the sad thing is I put my glasses on. Oh yeah.
It had a video they were working out.
Yeah.
Friends thought it was about working out.
Yeah.
But you know, they were like, oh, you know, I know it's like the skate. You can't play that. You can't play. I'm so excited. And
Yeah.
we're like, I thought it was so happy. Meanwhile, we're turning regular songs into the dirtiest thing in the world. Yeah, so I was like trying to think back to that. Yeah. It just keeps me young. Like, you know, and people, you know, I don't do, you know, on purpose, but it's like that the atmosphere, you know, wash your face.
Right.
Because I'd like to feel we were at, like,
You don't do art.
run around and. Yeah, it was. It was very.
When you reach your work, they're
People are very protective of the kids.
They're very protective.
You know, just
I used to do it in high school with, that was a little brag. One of my scribble stuff.
How do you know that?
From one of my jobs.
Oh. I just thought it was fun because you guys came over and shots.
No, really.
That was kind of in the middle, like, so everybody who was here were kind of mentally prepared.
It's perfectly natural.
Oh my goodness, okay, is this? Yes.
See my little natties right now? Hi. Yeah. We'll share artwork. You look at my dread hats, I love to share
It's just one painting for right now, but I hope to finish it.
But Jim from here is
Wow, I can't wait for the tree.
yeah, well, mine not that big, and I just let it hang, you know?
How much do you sell this?
What? The black bag, y'all need to go get